This is Happy Bird from happybirdsglitternest.blogspot.com, and today I'm going to show you how to make these super lightweight Christmas ornaments for your tree. You can also use them in journals, or you can just use them in your regular Christmas craft projects. I think they turn out beautiful, and there is minimal effort required. Just some drying time that you have to be a little patient with. So with that said, let's move on and I'll show you exactly how I put these together. Okay, so the first thing you're going to need is a 2-inch star pattern. And what I did was I went on Google and I typed in the words 2-inch star pattern template, and tons of them popped up. So I chose a sheet of 2-inch stars and I printed it out. Then I took a piece of cardboard from an old cracker box, okay? And I used some double-sided tape, and I taped the star that I printed out onto the cardboard. And then all I did was take my detail scissors and then, of course, cut the template, and then I tore off the paper that the printed paper that I attached to it, and I had a little star pattern. So I'm going to be using this on some stiff felt. This is just a little scrap of stiff felt, and this is the Hobby Lobby stiff felt that I've been using in my rhinestone and pearl ornaments that I had been making. Now you can use the stiff white felt at Michael's as well, but the one at Michael's is a little thicker than this. It's probably double the thickness, but this will work just as well, and I'll show you exactly what I mean. So I'm going to place my little pattern here on the stiff felt, okay, and I'm going to use a mechanical pencil because I really like how narrow the lead is, and you can really get in there. And all I'm doing is this. See how I'm starting towards the middle, and I'm just pulling this out. It doesn't even have to be perfect. Just have to do this enough to show where the points are. I'll show you what I mean in a moment. I think I already went around that way. Okay, so there we go. And it looks just like that. So I'm just going to rough cut this out so I won't have all this excess here hanging in the back while I'm trying to cut it. And I just take my scissors and do this. I start from the outside and I just cut inwards like this. And I do it this way because it turns out so nice. Stars are one of the few shapes that you can fussy cut and it'll look like it's machine made. That's why I like working with stars so much. Okay. And then we're just going to go all the way around like this. And there we have it. See how nice that turned out? Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put some triple thick on this. Okay, you can purchase this Deco Art Triple Thick on Amazon. Sometimes they have it on eBay, but not always. I was also told that you can find this in Hobby Lobby. Let me open this up. Okay. There we go. And you can use a brush if you want, but I'm just using my finger for now. I'm just putting this on like that. Now, honestly, if you have a whole bunch of these to do, like let's say you cut out a whole bunch of these stars, then the best idea would not be to sit there and do this like this out of the jar because you don't want the jar exposed to the air that long. If you have a bunch of these stars to do, I would put a little of this triple thick in a Dixie cup and then close the lid on this and then use I lost my thought. Oh my goodness, my thought just literally fell out of my head. Oh, Lori. Okay, now I have one side finished. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the other side at the same time. And don't worry if you can see some slight pencil marks around the edges, because that'll all be covered once we start mixing our glitter and then covering it. And the reason why we're putting a little layer of this glue on both sides, or I should say the triple thick, pretty much this does the same thing, but the reason why we're doing that is because we want to give this a base coat. This will soak in and it will harden, so it'll make the stars very hard, and when we go to put our second coat of triple thick on, it's not going to sink into the felt. The felt's not going to suck all the moisture inwards. It'll be sitting on top and it'll act like a glue and it will hold the glitter so much better. So with that said, what you're going to do is, if you have a paper plate, these are the ones I already did, I'll set those aside, you can just put this up like this to where the star is, one of the points of the star is on the edge of the paper plate, and it'll dry on both sides. And it won't stick to the paper plate. It'll be fine. Now, I would allow this to dry for 24 full hours before you start putting another layer of triple thick and your glitter on, okay? So that's very important to do, and you'll see that even though you feel the star and it feels a little hard, the longer you let it sit, the harder the more hard it gets. So go ahead and allow this to dry, and then I'll be back and I'll show you how to glitter up these stars. Okay, so now you're going to need a little Dixie cup for the glitter, and I'm going to be using pastel colors, and the reason why is because if I try to use dark glitter like dark red, dark green, the white part is going to show up. Now if you want to use those dark colors, what you're going to have to do is, after you put this triple thick on and it's dried, just use some multi-surface acrylic paint and just dab it on with a makeup sponge or something like that, and you know, the same color as the glitter that you're planning to use, like red or dark green or whatever dark color that you have, and do it on both sides. So that way when you do put the dark glitter on here, it's not going to show, you know, pieces of white here and there. It won't be such a contrast. Now with the pastel glitter, you won't need to do any painting on this, okay? So I think I'm going to start out by doing a pastel pink one, and I love this glitter blend that I bought at Walmart. It's called Snowy Surprise. It's called Party Blend Glitter, and this is the maker right there. And I believe this was $2.97 or something like that. But it has different cuts of glitter in it, and that's what I love about it. I'll open this lid and show you like that. Now I already poured ahead of time a little bit of this Snowy Surprise in my Dixie cup. And so next I'm going to be using this glitter that I got from Hobby Lobby, and I paid 40% off of this price right here. Okay, I didn't pay $3.49. It was 40% off, and I tell you the truth, I haven't looked too much at the glitter section when I go to Hobby Lobby, but they do have some nice glitters, and a lot of them are different cuts that are already mixed. So we'll go ahead and put a little bit of that in here. It's totally up to you as to how much you want, and if you find that you accidentally get a little too much of one or the other, that's no problem. You can go back and add a little more white or whatever you want. Now these are some little hexagons, little pink hexagons. Put a little bit in there. And we want some fine glitter, I think, as well. Let's see what I have in here. Oh, I've got some lovely glitter that a very sweet lady sent me from my group. And I'm going to add a little bit of that in there, of course. Oh, that's pretty. I like that. And let's see. Oh, we have some glass glitter. And we have this spinet glitter. I bought this at Michael's a while back, and it was originally $10, but I believe, if I remember correctly, I only paid half that price. Yeah, because I had a coupon, of course. You know me, I'm kind of a tightwad that way. And let's see. Okay, we have some tinsel glitter. I noticed that they're getting the tinsel glitter in Walmart for the holidays. And I believe I saw some tinsel glitter at Hobby Lobby too. That always makes a nice sparkle. Put a little of that in there. And then, let's see. There's so many different options here. I can put some of this Marquee Love in here. This glitter. This is an old one. I'll do a little of that. Not much, but just a tiny bit, because I don't want to overload it, because it does have a little bit of silver in it, but enough to where it gives it a little sparkle. Okay, and then I think lastly, I'm going to use some of this German glass glitter from Sugar Camp Cottage. And Debbie is on eBay. She's the one that has this business. But you can email her at sugarcamp@live.com. And we'll go ahead and put some of this. And I'll go ahead and give you Debbie's link as well on my blog at happybirdsglitternest.blogspot.com. Just click on the picture of this project and it should open up, and all the details will be there, including Debbie's link. Now, I'm not putting a ton of this glass glitter, because if you use just a touch of it, it really gives it a beautiful sparkle. But if you overload it, then it kind of dulls the other glitter, because there's nothing but glass glitter. I've tried both ways. But if you use just a touch of it, oh, it's beautiful. Okay, so let's go ahead and stir this and see what we have. Oh, that I think is very pretty. What do you think? I think it's just the perfect shade of pink that I want too. So I'll go ahead and open up my triple thick. And by the way, if you want to keep this nice, after you use it, just take a baby wipe. I use these baby wipes, Parents' Choice, in the cucumber scented, and I get this at Walmart, and I think it's something like $1.48, something like that. And I just wipe around the edges when I use it. And I also heard someone say they put a little bit of Vaseline on the edge, probably not a lot, just a little bit. And it will help the lid not to stick when you go to close it. Okay, now normally, like I said, I would, if you're going to be using this and making a lot of them, just pour some triple thick into a Dixie cup and use it out of there. You don't want the lid open for a long time because it'll thicken. It'll dry up and thicken eventually. Now make sure that you have a fairly good amount of this on here and go all the way down to the end of the points. Okay? Alright. Now I'm going to go ahead and just close this up. We're only going to do one side at a time. And I'm just going to pour this on here like that. Not worrying about putting too much glitter on because anything I don't use, I'll just pour right back into this cup. Alright. And you can tap this down with a little stick if you want, or you can just gently do it with your fingers. Totally up to you. Just do it very gently, just so the glitter will grab onto the glue. Alright, move it to the edge, and I'm just going to push back any little fuzzies that I see very gently, like this, just like that. Okay, and now I'm going to tip it over one time. I'm not going to shake it. I'm just going to tip it over one time. Alright, now once this dries, you're going to see how beautiful that is. Now, right here, it looks like I missed a little section right here, but that's okay because I can go back, put a teeny bit of triple thick here, and then just put a little more glitter. And I'll do that in just a moment. But you'll see how beautiful this is once it dries. And then we'll be back. So I figured while I'm waiting for the pink star to dry, I might have some fun with some leftover glitter. Now, as you know, I like to make different glitters up and keep them either in little jars or in little baggies like this. Little jewelry storage bags. I like to put them in something like this as well. Now this is what I have left over from a blue mixture that I made, and it's a little darker than I would like to go for this because I don't want any of that white to show. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of this Party Blend glitter, and of course if you don't have this Party Blend glitter, you can make your own just by using different cuts of iridescent glue. Iridescent glue? Iridescent glitter. Oh my gosh, I don't know what is wrong with me this morning. Alright, and then I guess I have my mind on too many things while I'm talking at the same time. Okay. So we have this. So instead of using a bunch of this, we're just going to use this as a touch, just a touch of blue. I'm going to stir that up and see how I like this. That's kind of pretty, isn't it? It's very light. Maybe I'll put in just a touch more. And if I get a little heavy on this, I can always go back and put in some more white or iridescent glitters. Actually, I think this looks pretty now. Gives it just a blue hint. So I think I'm going to use that one. And close this up. And like I said, with the triple thick, if you're planning on using, making a whole bunch of these stars, just put some in a little Dixie cup. All right, make sure I don't have any glitter on my fingers before I reach in here. All right, I'm going to give it a fairly good coat all the way down to the tips of the stars. You can use these for so many things. You can use them for journals. They're great for journals because they're so lightweight. And you can, of course, use these for as Christmas ornaments for a miniature tree. I was thinking how cute they would look even on like a large felt tree or something like that at the top. Okay, make sure everything's covered. Even the tips. It looks pretty good. So let me close this up. And I'll take this blue glitter. All right. And I think I'm just going to use my finger to lightly tap it right down to the very tips. Okay. Now I'm going to push in all the little fuzzies. And then we're just going to not shake it, but give it one turnover. There we go. All right, so now I'm going to allow this to dry, and we'll see how beautiful it is when we come back. All right, and I'm going to continue, I think, to experiment with different colors and whatnot, but I'll show you those when they're finished. Okay, so I went ahead and decided I'll go ahead and continue to experiment on camera. I found some leftover purplish glitter, and I also had purple in the fine glitter called Orchid. It's by Recollections. And this one is tinsel glitter, and it's called Fairy Dust by Recollections. Now, these are a lot darker than normally that I would use, so we're going to lighten it up by using a lot of the iridescent glitter. So I went ahead and put some iridescent glitter in here, and like I said, if you don't have this, make your own. Pull out all the white iridescent glitters you have in different cuts and mix them up. And I'm going to use some glitter glass, just a dab, not a lot. If you use just a little, it looks beautiful. If you use a lot, it looks muddled and cloudy. Just a dab. And now for the purples. Now I'm just going to put a touch of this in. Like that. I don't want to go too heavy on that. And then sprinkle just the lightest touch of this. And some tinsel glitter. Ooh, that's pretty dark, so I'm not going to do a whole lot on that. And if I need to lighten it up by using more of the light glitter, I will. Okay, I think that turned out pretty good. I mean, it does have a little purple in there. I might use a little more of the fine orchid color glitter and see if that gives it a little more purple in there. I know it's kind of hard to see. I'm not sure if I... Well, we'll try that and we'll see if we like this or not. It's kind of hard to tell. It does give it a little bit of a purplish cast, but it's so difficult when you start mixing the real dark glitters together. We'll find out how it turns out, and I'll see if you like it or not. So we'll go ahead and pick up another little star and add triple thick to this. Make sure I don't have any glitter on my fingers. And I'm being fairly generous, as you can tell. Taking it all the way down to the points. There we go. That looks good. We'll lay that on a paper plate, close this lid. And pour this purple glitter, purple tone glitter, I guess you'd say. You know, I think it looks pretty. Actually, I think I might like that. I'm going to push this over to the side so I can lift it up. Push in all of the fuzzies. Okay. Now, when all of these stars are dry, I'm not going to bore you and turn them over on the back and do all of them on the back on camera. I'll go ahead and do that part off camera, the backs of the stars, and then we'll go from there. Alright, so I'm going to tap it. Probably should have done that before I went around the edges, but okay. So now I'm going to turn it over one time. Alright, I kind of like that. Gives it a kind of a purplish hint to it. Okay, so I'll go ahead and allow all these stars to dry. I'll do the backs, and then I'll be back. Okay, so as you can see, our little stars are finished, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do next on this pink star. And I allowed it to dry for a good day and a half just because I wanted to make sure it was nice and hard. And so what we're going to do next is put some pearl trim around the edges. Now I have some pretty pearl trim from Hobby Lobby, but it's 4mm, and 4mm will not work on this. It'll be too large. So I had to purchase some 3mm pearl trim, and I did that on Amazon. And this little roll here, and I cut 5 pieces of 5 pearls and 5 pieces of 4 pearls. Okay, so that's what you're going to need to make this. Now, I'm going to lay this down here and move my camera down a little bit so you can see. And we're using Beacon Fabri-Tac on this. Okay. You know, the important thing is you want to keep the nozzle clean in between doing this. All right. And I'm going to start by putting a little bit on the edge here. And this will dry clear, which is really nice. Just put a little bit. You don't need a ton. And I'm going to pick up my 5 pearl strand here, and then a 4 pearl strand on the opposite side, like that. And you just want to make sure that it's pressed down. Make sure that when you do this, these 2 pearls here line up, and there's 1 pearl at the top, okay? All right. So, all right. Now, I'm just going to turn it around like this and do the same thing here. Just a little bit. Now there's 100 different ways you can decorate these pearls. Okay, I'm putting a 5 strand here. Or I said pearls, I meant there's 100 different ways you can decorate the little stars. Doesn't have to be this way, but I just thought it looked nice. Okay, I'm gonna pull this up a little and pull this down a little. Now you can use your fingers if you want. You don't have to use these Dollar Tree tweezers, but I just find that it does help at times. You get I think package of 4 of these tools and at the Dollar Tree, and you find them where all the other hardware is. Okay, and then you're just going to keep going around doing the same thing on each point. Now I'm going to do the rest off camera because I don't want to bore you guys to death. So I'll do that, and then I'll be back when I'm finished with it, okay? Okay, so I glued all the pearls on, and one thing nice about this Fabri-Tac is that it gives you a few minutes to move things around and kind of play with things, and to straighten things up that maybe you see are a little uneven. But for the most part, I think this turned out really nice. And I'm going to leave this to dry for several hours, so this around here will get to the point where you won't be able to move it. It'll be rock hard, okay? And the longer you leave it, the harder it will get. So the next thing we're going to do is just glue on a little cord. Now I have some gold cord here, and it's not the stretchy kind. It's regular gold cord, okay? And I bought that at Michael's many years ago, and it's taking forever to go through this. Honestly, I've had this roll for years. So I'm just going to take a little Fabri-Tac here. Oh, and I did cut 8 inches of this cord, okay? And right at the top here, I'm going to be fairly generous, putting the Fabri-Tac on, and then I'm just going to lay that there, and then I'm going to take a flat back rhinestone, and I'm going to glue this right here, or just press it into the glue like that, just because I want it to look nice on the back. Now, I'm not going to touch this. I'm going to let this dry for several hours, and then we'll be back. Okay, so here are our beautiful little stars, and I think they turned out just lovely. And these really make a wonderful shine on your Christmas tree, and they're super lightweight, which I really love about them, and they weren't difficult to put together at all. So with that said, I hope you give this a try, and thank you so much for watching, and God bless each and every one of you. Merry Christmas, everyone. Bye-bye.